Hello, I'm Mithril and welcome to my Minecraft Survival Let's Play series. I believe we're up to episode 9. I hope you enjoyed the sugarcane farm that we built last episode behind me. And also note I'm down to the last little bit of durability on the golden chestplate that we got off that baby zombie. But yeah, the sugarcane farm has been quietly productive. It's not the biggest and best in the world, but it's certainly producing enough sugarcane for what we need for now. And I've gone ahead and taken some of that sugarcane, turned it into paper, and grabbed some leather from the cow farm to make some bookshelves. And I've also collected some obsidian and diamonds to make an enchanting table as well. So at this point we are good to go to get that enchanting station all set up. So on that note, I've done some thinking, and as you can see, I think I'm going to go with a sort of like a rocky outcrop with the enchanting table up on top with a good view. And you can see where I've marked out these torches, sort of like a winding path that works its way up the hill to the enchanting table. There might be a little bridge across this valley here. So on the way up, I think it was last episode I talked about how eventually we'll continue this path through and down, because just on the other side of this dirt here was where we spawned. So I've actually tunneled that through, and it does connect up. If you think back to maybe the first episode when we were doing that initial exploring around, we found this sort of valley here, which I thought looked pretty cool. So maybe we might make a little entrance up from spawn at some point, and in the meantime this means I can get back to my base quickly if for whatever reason I've broken my bed and meet an untimely demise. So let's head on up the long way and have a look at what we've done. So I've just shaped out the rough shape of this using solid stone, and I figure I'll do a little bit more sort of blending other stone pallets through and adding a bit of more feature to this sort of in a second pass. But for now it's just given us sort of the rough shape to work with. And all the way up the top you can see I've got a bit of a space for this enchanting table. So the plan is for the enchanting table to be up here, like so, which gives us a good view of the surroundings and sort of back down to the rest of the base. And I thought, like, in order to have an enchanting table to work, you need to have the surround of bookshelves. Given we're sort of exposed to the elements and out on this rocky outcrop, I thought it'd be cool to have a little bit of redstone to hide the bookshelves when they're not in use. So I've cleared this space that I've lined with andesite, which is where the redstone is going to go, and we're going to go with a sort of ring of 15 bookshelves, sort of one high around the enchanting table. So I think that's what we'll do next, after I've had a quick sleep, because the sun is getting low. So with the sun rising in the sky, the first thing to do is to place in our sticky pistons. So I've once again raided the slime farm, and we're going to need 15 sticky pistons all up, just to go around in a ring, leaving that one gap. And these are what's going to push the bookshelves up. And so I'm going to go ahead and put the bookshelves on top of those pistons. I've kind of gone with a oak plank and glowstone to sort of match the tops of the bookshelves to create this sort of floor effect here, which I think will be pretty good. And I think the glowstone kind of works with the obsidian enchanting table, so that's good. Now that we've got the pistons and bookshelves in place, the next thing to do is to put in some redstone repeaters and dust to activate them. So the way I'm going to do that is by running the redstone current into the pistons, and you can see that I'm actually the ones on the corners only need to be activated once, which is why there's just this gap here. And planning to activate this from a lever. And the important thing is that I don't want it to be too close to the pistons because it will activate the piston first before the signal goes into the rest of the repeaters. So I think I'm going to put it sort of out and back here. I've got myself a redstone lamp and a lever, and I'll put that up here so you can see when we turn this on, that redstone dust lights up. And I'm just going to use that to run the redstone around to all of the other repeaters. And I think in order to make it all the way around, if we just turn that on for a minute, there we go. You can see we're almost running out of current here, so we will put another redstone repeater in here just to keep it going. I'll turn that off now. Just to make it back to these last three, and we might just do the same here, more for symmetry than anything else. It's probably not necessary. And there we have it. Now, you'll notice if I turn it on now and you watch very closely, all of these pistons around the sides and the front should activate at the same time because they have a 1 tick delay from these repeaters. But the ones at the back are actually, the signal's going through 2 repeaters, so they should be coming up a little bit behind. Yeah, you can see that if you just look really carefully. Right? Yeah, that's better. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter because you can't see it. Yeah, these 3 are definitely coming up with that little sort of tick later and going down a tick later. So what I'm going to do is put an extra tick on all of the repeaters that come in first, and that should make sure that this is going to delay 2 ticks, and then these ones will delay 1 tick each, so everything should be coming up and going down at the same time. Should be good. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, so at this point we are looking pretty good, I think. So what we want to do next is cover over the redstone and start to make this sort of rocky outcrop look pretty cool. I think most of it should look fairly natural, but there may be, as we just get to the top, there might be a little bit of more sort of stone brick or sort of man-made kind of blocks just to blend it in. This looks like there's been a bit of reinforcing, or maybe some old ruined walls or something. But I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but we'll give it a go and we'll see what it ends up looking like. So I think the top has turned out pretty well. I've gone with a mostly stone bricks with a little bit of moss thrown in and some cobblestone with mossy cobblestone as well. And it's just kind of, I guess it looks like the foundation of an old tower or something that was here once. It's sort of fallen down, and this is all that's left. And I think it just, yeah, really creates a nice edge for it. So that's looking pretty good. The redstone still works. There we go. Yeah, excellent. So next is to, I guess, start to make the rest of the outcrop look a little bit better. And one thing that I kind of noticed is that it's what's the word? It just needs some features to break it up a little bit, I think. And another thing that I tend to find that I create a collection of is sort of leftover items that I had to enchant that weren't quite what I wanted, or sometimes I do that with books where I'm looking for a particular enchant and it's not there, so I enchant a book and I end up with this book that's left over that it might be useful later. And so I kind of need somewhere to store the extra books and items that I'm enchanting up. And I thought just down here on the way up, it might be interesting to make a little cave in underneath the enchanting table, because there's plenty of space in there, and it would just add a little bit of a feature here in the side of the wall. And also, if we come around, and hopefully don't take too much damage, and come up here, if you look at the levels of where that would come through, so that's ground level that we're looking at there, you might have like a little window into the cave sort of poking out here, and I think that would really help to sort of break up this structure a little bit as well. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and dig out that little cave, and maybe even do a little bit of decoration in there as the next step, and we'll see what it looks like. So things are progressing nicely. We have sort of an entrance, a cave. I've done a lot of the sort of rocky roof, bits of andesite and cobblestone in different shapes to kind of make it look a little bit more interesting. We have a little wall here to reduce the chance that we fall out this opening. And this one's sort of a little bit higher, so I haven't really bothered with that. But we might put something in across here. And I've also sort of inset these bookshelves in here, which is good. And I've started lighting up the floor. So I just thought I'd take a quick break to show you what I'm planning to do for the chests, because you'll have seen this lighting that I've done where you just sort of put down jack-o'-lanterns and then cover up over the top like this. But I'm also planning to put chests on the floor. So what I'm going to do is remove the blocks where I'm wanting to put the chests and actually put a full wool block in. And what that means is that you can then go and place the chests on the wool block, and you can still see sort of that little bit of wool showing through, so it looks like it's sitting on the wool. And you just can't do that where you've placed actual wool blocks. It kind of won't let you do that. So I guess it's something I want to share. So I hope you enjoy that, and I'm going to keep working away at this. We're getting pretty close to having this cave done. Then we'll just need to continue working on the outside. So another thing I wanted to put in the room was a lectern. I just thought it would be something as a bit of a feature and something that makes sense to have in a room where you're collecting all your books. So I've crafted one of those up with bookshelves and house slabs. Let's go see if it's going to look any good. So I feel like it should be in front of this space here. Again, I'm going to have to remove the carpet. Maybe... Well, let's place it down and just see what it looks like. Oh, it covers the book entirely. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And we might find a book to put on as well. So I returned book in hand to try and put this book on the lectern, and despite me clicking, nothing is happening, and I ended up having to look this up, but apparently you need a book and quill, which hopefully looks a little something like this. There we go. Perfect. Much better. Just mixing in different types of natural rock, a little bit of vines and leaves. I've got a tree planted that I'm waiting to grow. Yeah, put that lantern in. It's sort of becoming a bit of a feature of the base, which is good. And the cave is more or less done. Yeah. So, I think the next thing to do is work this sort of a palette around the side here. I've done a little bit, but it needs to go all the way around just to finish it off. So I might attempt to do that in a time lapse. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go because there's going to be a lot of up and down on scaffolding and all the rest of it. But yeah, let's see how that goes. I was trying to think if there's anything else interesting. Oh, I've also gone through and strategically placed some jack-o'-lanterns under carpet just to make sure that nothing's spawning on this. So you can see there's a few of those around, and I might need to do a little bit more of that as well. Yeah, so let's keep working this around and see what it ends up looking like. So I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. Everything is really coming together, and now I am crafting up a new 1.14 block, which is the fireplace. And I'm getting a whole bunch of them, and you'll see why very shortly. Alrighty, so I've been a little bit busy, and you can see I've started putting in this path, copying the same as what we had down in front of the chicken farm and the sugarcane farm. I still really need to get that podzol just to finish it off, but it's more or less there. And I've also started to put this staircase down, which is looking pretty good, I think. I've continued the lanterns coming in, and I've also started to extend a little bit of the terraforming around in this section here. So you can see I've put some grass in with bone meal, done some lighting up just to make sure nothing's going to spawn, and yeah, putting in the odd spruce tree. So my plan is to make sure none of the trees are sort of above this level, so when we're up here we can kind of look out and look across the treetops, and I think that's going to work out really well. So as we come down here, again I've kind of finished off around the cave here, which is looking pretty good, and I've also put this little stairwell down to the bridge, which I've also started. So this is what I had the campfires for. I've seen a lot of this on YouTube and Instagram of people doing sort of using this block for lots of different things other than fireplaces, and I think for a bridge it looks really good. So what I'm doing is I'm putting spruce trapdoors underneath, and I'll show you why in a minute, and then sort of holding shift and placing the campfires down on top, and then just grabbing a water bucket and sort of really quickly putting the water down and picking it up again by clicking twice, like that. And that's putting in this sort of plank texture. If you're looking right down, you can see into the sort of coals of the extinguished campfire, but when you're just walking across it, you don't really see that, and all you see is this nice wood texture, which I really like. So I'm finishing it off with some stone brick stairs, throwing in the occasional mossy one, and just to tie it back to the base a little bit, I've gone with that light grey glass panes that we were using before. Yeah, so just to head down underneath to see what it looks like from down there. Obviously I haven't done any of the terraforming down here, but yeah, I really like the spruce trapdoors because it kind of hides that sort of black coal effect, and I think it really finishes off this bridge from underneath. So when we do come through and do this bit down here, I think it's going to look really good. So I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up this path and connect it through over there, and then maybe I might jump on the camera account and just take one last look at the overall build, but I think we're getting pretty close to finishing this up. I probably did a slightly bigger project than I should have with this. It's taken me quite a while, and I had some technical difficulties early on in the episode that meant that it's taken a bit longer to get this one out than the others. But I think the effort has definitely been worth it. I'm really proud of how this is coming together. So let me finish this up, and then we'll have a look at what it's looking like. So here we are at the bamboo farm on the camera account, and you can see we now have a path that sort of winds its way up the hill over the bridge. I ended up adding a little barrel and a lantern there just to light up the steps, and we have our cave with all of the enchanted books, or at least the storage for enchanted books, which I'll be putting in there. And then as we come around, you can see we've got the path all the way to the top. Yeah, I think I'm really happy with how this came out. The vines are growing. At some point I might need to come back with some string and kind of prune them back a bit, and I think we could put a little bit just there. But yeah, one finished enchanting project, which is fantastic. I can't wait to keep working at that to try and see what enchants we can get. So that's more or less it for this episode. I just wanted to finish in our storage cave to show you a little bit of work that I've been doing. You can see up behind us here I've dug out a chunk of the cave and kind of finished continuing the water streams up, so you've got glass so you can look out as you're going up and down, and I'm certainly keen to continue removing a lot of this stone and finishing this space as we go. I've also taken the water streams up to the full height. Remember, they kind of used to finish sort of partway out a hill, whereas now we've got this little stone platform here, which has been great because it's much easier to sort of just walk straight into the house from it. From the outside, it's looking like this at the moment. Again, we're probably going to have to do a little bit of decoration around out here at some point, but for now I think this is working pretty well. We might even have a little stairway going down to connect up to the rest of the paths. But yeah, so that's all we have time for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave a like. If you're keen to catch more, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you get notified when the next episode's out. And until next time, I'll catch you later.